Welcome back to the channel. Planning a project requires circular thinking, which is not always easy to understand. So let's take a crack at it on this video. Hello again, Sylvain Gauthier, your executive producer, and let's tackle the linear thinking and versus circular thinking for the actual planning of a project, which is sometimes people try to find an easy way of going step by step, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. And that's why I'm always very reluctant when people say, oh, give me the template, right? And it's like, with the template, I'll know what to do. Yes and no, okay? A template is not necessarily, or a project plan is not necessarily a form to fill. Okay, where I go section 1, section 2, section 3, that's it. I'm done. By the time I get to section 10, whatever it is, I am done. Okay, it's a bit more complicated than that. There's a lot of moving part that need to tie together to get you to the end of it. Okay, and that is sometimes a concept that is missed there, right? And that's why, unless you understand the whole circular thinking about it, I won't give you a template, right? And when people say I want a template, it's like, no, I want you to understand how the pieces fits together so you could actually build a plan that makes sense and not having a whole bunch of mini plans that are not connected. Okay, there's a big section called integration if you're looking at the PMBOK, and it's always a section that's like, what the hell is this thing, right? It's like you try to understand. Well, you get a better view here of what integration means actually especially when we build a project plan. So let's get right into it. I on another video, previous one, I gave you a map to build a project management plan, okay, where we start with the end in mind and figuring out, how we're going to get acceptance right from this beginning. And from that, we need to have the stakeholders, identify them, and then find the needs, and then translate their needs into a requirement and document all of this into a statement of work. From that, we start building, what do we need to produce, the deliverables, sub-deliverable, up to the work package. We describe what do they means in the WBS dictionary. That becomes our scope. And then we're really ready to deal with the constraint. First constraint is like, the timing aspect. So, and the most important piece, which is all the activities that are required to produce these deliverables. We identify them using the decomposition technique. We sequence them, different type of sequencing. You could see that in the schedule video. And then we start allocating resource. Okay, resource could be people, could be equipment, could be material, could be a truck, could be local, could be so many things. Okay, so we allocate resource. These resources cost money. So in our schedule, we will be able to establish efforts to do the work and duration to do the work. With these two things, we could start also adding a calendar under it and get a full schedule coming up. The sum of all these resources will be brought into the budget. The budget will be a time phase with cumulative costs as you go in S-curve, and therefore there's going to be used for dealing with the aspect of the boundary on costs that we have for this investment that we're doing. With the budget now, and the schedule, so far, it seems to be a process that is pretty straightforward, right? We started with the requirements, we went deliverable, we went schedule, we allocate resource, we got a budget. Things start to get complicated when we start adding quality. Okay, now quality, here we're dealing with quality control, which is compliance, is looking at things such as pass, fail. So will be a lot of testing, checking, audit, etc., inspection. Those are the kind of things we'll see in the quality control plan. And we will have quality assurance, which is dealing more with subjective criteria where there's not a pass or fail. It could be more like I like it and I don't like it. So it would be a judgment call by someone that's, decide if it's acceptable or not. Okay. So therefore, we're going to need assurance on these guys and confidence we're going to hit the actual acceptance. So we're going to have to build activity to review with them, meetings, maybe some demos to get them to go and give you the feedback, etc. So these two plans needs to be integrated in the schedule. needs to have all these activities, and on a quality control plan, there's a lot of activities and a different resource that needs to be allocated into this. So that first integration, which is opening up the schedule, adding these activities, reallocating the resource, reaffecting your budget, because quality takes time, costs money. So all of this is the first time you're coming back at this schedule. You might realize also that we might have certain deliverables that we didn't expect, when we work the quality, and we might have to go back into the deliverable because, for example, we realize one of the standards is to provide an FMEA report, which is a failure mode analysis report, to the customer. Well, we didn't know that, so now we have a matrix that's just saying we need to do all the FMEA testing. So now we go back into scope and add FMEA report, okay? So now we have a report to produce and activities to generate that. So you could start to see now, right? We're kind of turning, right? Now we do the communication, same thing. Information retrieval, information distribution, retrieval, a lot of activities, distribution, a lot more activities. We have to generate the kind of content that what they need to know. So all of this needs to go back in the schedule. The schedule is the point, the center point is the heart that connect every pieces. Every time we have new activity, it goes in the schedule, allocate the resource, affect the budget. Risk. Prevention, when we're dealing with mitigation, try to deal with the probability and the effect, activities we're doing, investment we're putting in these activities, which means investment in resource to do these activities, needs to be inserted in your schedule, will have an effect on your budget. Same thing on contingency, plan B you're keeping. You keep them because you got the resource set aside. So somebody will have to go and get them and prepare them and prepare the plan. So again, that too will affect your schedule. And finally, you're going to bring procurement, all the activities to procure these resources that we don't have. Okay, that's what we do in procurement. We go get the resource we don't have in the pool. So, could be a very simple activity such as going on Amazon and place an order, but it could be very complex too, such as writing a full request for proposal, sending that to potential vendors, selecting vendors, negotiating contract, etc. So that could be a lot of activity too. So all of this needs to go in your schedule. So the whole idea of going through each one of the section, okay, of your plan, the knowledge area if you want, or saying, because let's say we're in planning mode and there's all kind of thing, in a linear way, it's not working this way, okay? You cannot just do your scope and go on schedule, finish your schedule, do your budget, finish your budget, it doesn't work that way, okay? So you're going to have to do a portion, do the scope, do the schedule. It will affect your budget. And as you grow and adding more and more, planning in terms of quality, in terms of risk, in terms of communication, it will grow. And we will have to go back, reopen the schedule, reinsert many things there in order to be able to do the work. So, in fact, it looks like this. It's a process. It's a tornado. It starts small, but then as you progress, you're adding and affect everything that you had done, and it could grow on, and you could turn for a while until you get all the pieces, okay? Which means what? Means that you might not build it, in sequence. They say, let's do all our scope, let's do all our schedule. We might say, no, let's do a portion of the scope, let's do a portion of the schedule, let's allocate the resource, let's see in terms of quality. So I might work on this part, today with the team, and we're going to say, okay, what do we have to, maybe we'll work the communication later, we'll work the risk. We could do all the key part relating to these deliverable, and then we're going to bring in the other teams that will be focusing on another set of deliverable, and then I say, let's do your set of deliverable, work package, let's go back, let's figure out the schedule, let's allocate the resource, let's see the duration, the effort, and the budget for this, how does that affect the budget, and then let's bring the risk, let's bring the other pieces. So it might not be as we do all of them together. That's why I'm really hesitant when someone is asking me for a template if they don't know this whole, circular thinking and this whole integration part, okay? The PMBOK integration This tornado, that's what integration is, okay? So hopefully that's helped you, this one, to think a little bit better in terms of doing your project plan. In terms of templates, you could find on the internet so many. Just Google project management template and you're going to get all kind. Again, you got to, some of them are better for your own industry. So if you're doing construction, you might not have the same kind of template as an IT type of project or a continuous improvement, but there's so many out there, right? It's not like, secret, these things. So just Google them, right? So good luck with your project plan.